Welcome back. In this video, I'll be demonstrating how to make this really cute lemon colored bucket hat. This is in a size small, but you can make it any size you want. Let's get started. For the materials, you will need a pair of scissors, a 4mm letter G crochet hook, a stitch marker, and any yarn of your choice. I'm using a little over 70 grams of the sugar and cream yarn. This is in a medium weight 4, and it's 100% cotton in the color yellow. To begin, you will create a slip knot, hold down a tail of yarn and wrap it around 2 fingers to create an X. Grab your crochet hook, insert it underneath the first strand and over to grab the second strand, then pull it underneath, release your fingers, and pull the hook up to tighten. Chain 4. Slip stitch into the first chain that we made. Be sure to pick up 2 loops when you're slip stitching. Yarn over, pull through all the loops on the hook. Now we've made a magic ring. If you open this up, you can see that it creates a hole, and this is where we're going to be inserting our stitches into. So to start round 1, we'll do 8 half double crochets into that ring. Yarn over the hook, insert the crochet hook into the hole, pull up a loop, you should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 of the loops. That's the first half double crochet, and we're going to work 7 more half double crochets inside of that ring. So go ahead and work 7 more for a total of 8 half double crochets. After working 8 half double crochets, if you turn your circle over, you can see that there's a tail here, and you want to pull on that in order to close the hole in the middle. To close the round, we're going to half double crochet into the first stitch we created. So half double crochet into the stitch, and this is going to start our next round. So I've done a half double crochet, and I'm going to grab a stitch marker to place inside of the stitch that I just made. I'm going to insert it right here. For this next round, we're going to be working 2 half double crochets in each stitch. So I already did my first one, and now I'm going back in to that same space to work a second half double crochet. So now you can see that I have 2 half double crochets in one space. And we'll repeat the same thing in the next stitch. So insert your first half double crochet in this stitch, followed by another half double crochet in the same stitch. And when you do this, it creates something called an increase. So an increase is just another way of saying do 2 stitches in the same space. So in this case, we're doing 2 half double crochets in each stitch. This will allow our circle to increase in size. Repeat this all the way until you reach the stitch marker that we placed in the beginning of the round. When you reach the end of round 2, you should have a total of 16 stitches. So go ahead and count to make sure. Now we're going to do a half double crochet in the space where our stitch marker was. So after you do this, reinsert the stitch marker back in the stitch. And for round 3, we're going to do 1 half double crochet followed by an increase. So I already worked 1 half double crochet in the first stitch, and in my next stitch I'm going to work an increase, which is just 2 half double crochets in that stitch. So we'll insert right here, pull up a loop, pull through all 3, and do the same thing in that same stitch, pull through all 3. So there's our increase. And in the next stitch, we're just going to do a regular half double crochet. And in the next stitch, an increase. Repeat this all the way until you reach the stitch marker. When you're making your increase rounds, if you lose track of which stitch you did an increase in, you can find it by looking for the one with 2 posts in it that create like a V, and just count in between to ensure you have the right amount of stitches. At the end of round 3, you should have a total of 24 stitches. To start our next round, once again, we're going to work a half double crochet in the stitch that our stitch marker is in. And the reason we're doing this is to create a seamless hat, versus in other crochet projects, we would typically slip stitch. So this one is just going to help create that spiral effect. For round 4, we will work 2 half double crochets followed by an increase. So I already did 1 half double crochet in the first stitch, And now I'm going to work a half double crochet in the second stitch. Yarn over, insert the crochet hook in the second stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all three. So there's 2 half double crochets, and in the third stitch we're going to work an increase. So put 2 half double crochets in that same stitch. Then we're going to repeat half double crochet in the first stitch, half double crochet in the second stitch, increase in the third stitch. Repeat this pattern all the way until you reach the stitch marker. At the end of round 4, you should have 32 stitches in your circle. So now we're going to do a half double crochet to start the next round and mark our space with the stitch marker. For round 5, we're going to work 3 half double crochets followed by an increase. So I did my first one, this is the second half double crochet, and the third half double crochet. In the fourth stitch, we will do an increase. So place 2 half double crochets in the fourth stitch, and then do 3 regular half double crochets in the next 3 stitches. Repeat this pattern until you reach the stitch marker, and one thing I want to mention is your last stitch should always be an increase when we're working the increase rounds. So if you notice that your last stitch is not an increase, then I recommend you go back and count your stitches, or you can start the round over if it's easier. At the end of round 5, you should have a total of 40 stitches. To start round 6, we're going to first remove the stitch marker, place a half double crochet in that same stitch, in round 6, we will do 4 half double crochets followed by an increase. So I already did one, and here's the second one, the third one, fourth, and in the 5th stitch we will do an increase. So insert 2 half double crochets in the 5th stitch. Repeat this pattern of 4 half double crochets followed by an increase until you reach the stitch marker. At the end of round 6, you should have a total of 48 stitches in your circle. As we did in our previous increase rounds, we're going to remove the stitch marker and place our first half double crochet of the round and insert the marker back in there. In round 7, we'll work 5 half double crochets followed by an increase. So we already completed our first half double crochet, so this is the second one, third, fourth, and 5th. Then in the 6th stitch, we are going to do 2 half double crochets, so increase in the 6th stitch. Repeat this pattern until you reach the stitch marker. At the end of round 7, you should have 56 stitches. Place 1 half double crochet in the first stitch. In round 8, we will work 6 half double crochets followed by an increase. We completed the first one already, so you can do a half double crochet in the next 5 stitches. In the 6th stitch, we will work an increase. Repeat this pattern until you reach the stitch marker. At the end of round 8, you should have 64 stitches. Here's a little preview of what the top of the hat looks like so far. I'm going to work a few more rounds of increases so that I can get this to fit the size of my head. So let's get back into it. In round 9, we will work 7 half double crochets followed by an increase. I already took my stitch marker out, but I'm going to insert a half double crochet and add it back in. This is my first one. And we'll do this 6 more times. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then insert 1 increase in the 8th stitch. Continue to repeat this pattern until you reach the stitch marker. At the end of round 9, you should have 72 stitches. Round 10 will be the last round of increases for a size small bucket hat. So we're going to work 8 half double crochets followed by an increase. Here's my first one. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8. In the 9th stitch, we will do 1 increase. I'm inserting 2 half double crochets in the 9th stitch, and we'll repeat this pattern of 8 half double crochets followed by an increase all the way until we reach the stitch marker. At the end of round 10, you should have a total of 80 stitches for the top of the bucket hat. If we go across the middle, the top of my head is around 6.1 inches or 15.5 centimeters wide. So that's where I decided to stop with my bucket hat, but if you have a bigger head size, I would suggest doing anywhere from 6.5 to 7 inches. And this could mean 1 or 2 more rounds of increases, and if you have a smaller head, then maybe going down to 5 to 6 inches, but it is up to you. And to add more increases, you would just keep going up in numbers. So our last round we did 8 half double crochets, 1 increase, and we would just add 1 to that. So it would be 9 half double crochets followed by an increase, then 10, and so forth. So keep going until you reach your desired size. As I mentioned, I finished increasing my rounds, so for round 11, we're going to work a half double crochet in the front loops only. So to do that, we're going to insert our crochet hook in the loop that is closest to us. So we'll pull through that front loop and yarn over, pull through all 3. And I'll add my stitch marker back in here. We'll continue to do 1 half double crochet in the front loops only. I'll do the same thing in the next stitch. I'm picking up the loop that is closest to me. If you look at your stitches, they create a V shape, and you want to be picking up the one that's in the front. So continue to work a half double crochet in those front loops only until you reach the stitch marker. When we work in the front loops only, it will help the hat move in a downwards direction, so that we can start the body portion. And it's also going to hide the seam, which I'll show you later on. But this is just one trick to help change the direction of the hat. At the end of round 11, you should still have 80 stitches in the round. To start round 12, we'll place a regular half double crochet in the first stitch. So we're going to pick up both loops this time and then place the stitch marker back into the stitch. For round 12, we will work a regular half double crochet in every stitch until we reach the stitch marker that we placed in the beginning. So go ahead and insert one half double crochet in every stitch until the end of the round. At the end of round 12, you should still have 80 stitches in the round. Now what we'll do is turn our hat inside out to hide the front loop half double crochet seam. And what I really love about this is not only does it create an invisible seam, but it helps shape the hat in a downward direction. So it creates like a separation between the top of the hat and the body. After you turn your hat inside out, we're going to continue working on the body. So I'm going to insert my crochet hook back in the loop, and we're going to continue to do half double crochets for the next 7 rounds. So first remove my stitch marker and do 1 half double crochet in the first stitch. Place the stitch marker back in there. For rounds 13 to 20, we're going to work a half double crochet in every stitch until the end of the round. And when you finish each round, it's going to be the same process of removing the stitch marker, doing a half double crochet to start the next round, and then placing the stitch marker back in. I've reached the end of round 20, and this is what the body of my hat looks like. I did a total of 9 rounds of the body. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So for reference, for the size small hat, I did enough rounds until the hat reached about 1 inch above my eyebrow when I tried it on. So that's one way of measuring if you're unsure of how many rounds to do, but keep in mind we are going to be adding a brim to this hat, so you want to make sure you don't make the body too long. For the next 3 rounds, we're going to be working on the brim. So to start round 21, we'll do 4 front loop half double crochets followed by an increase. I'm inserting my crochet hook into the front loop only of that first stitch, placing the stitch marker back in to the spot, and I'll do 3 more front loop half double crochets. The second one, third, and fourth. And in the 5th stitch, we're going to do a front loop half double crochet increase. So find the front loop, insert the crochet hook, and do a half double crochet, and in that same front loop do another half double crochet. We'll continue this pattern of 4 front loop half double crochets followed by a front loop half double crochet increase until the end of the round. I reached the end of the round, and for the next round we're going to start by inserting a regular half double crochet in the first stitch. For round 22, we will work 8 half double crochets followed by an increase. I worked the first one, and now I'm going to do a half double crochet in the next 7 stitches. In the 9th stitch, we will work an increase, so insert 2 half double crochets in that stitch. Repeat this pattern of 8 half double crochets followed by an increase until you reach the stitch marker. Just want to call out, for the brim increase rounds, you may not end on an increase stitch, and that's totally okay. If you have remaining stitches, then just work regular half double crochet in those stitches until you reach the end. I'm at the end of round 22, and I'm going to take out my stitch marker and start my next round by doing a half double crochet in the first stitch. For round 23, we're going to work a half double crochet in each stitch until the end of the round. And the reason for doing a round of half double crochets in between the increase rounds is so that we can keep our brim more straight. If we were to do continuous rounds of increases, then the brim of our bucket hat would come out more curly or wavy, and I'm going for a flared yet straight look on my hat, so that's why I'm working a regular round of half double crochets and then working on an increase. So continue to repeat a half double crochet in each stitch until you reach the stitch marker. At the end of the round, this is what my bucket hat is looking like, and you can start to see the brim is flaring out more, and we're going to work one more round of increases for a size small hat, and then I'm going to stop after that. For the final round of my hat, round 24, I'm going to work 9 half double crochets followed by an increase. So this is the first half double crochet. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then in the 10th stitch we will work an increase. So do 2 half double crochets in the 10th stitch. Continue working this pattern until the end of the round. I've reached the end of the round, and I'm going to insert my last few half double crochets in the remaining stitches. When we reach the last stitch, we can remove the stitch marker, insert our crochet hook, and slip stitch to join the round. Chain 1 to fasten off, and pull the strand through. So this is what my brim looks like at the end of the project, and I really like the way it came out. And if you wanted to make this more flared out, you can add more increase rows, but I'm going to leave it like this. So now the last part of the hat will be to weave in the loose ends. Take your yarn needle and thread the loose ends through the hole. I'm going to whip stitch along the bottom of the hat. So I'm going in from the back and coming out through the front to hide the loose strand. I really hope you like the way your bucket hat came out, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.